Hello everyone and welcome back to Freedom Through Confidence. My name is Ben, and in this video today I'm going to be talking to you about why you just don't need a life coach and just how easily replaced they are, how you can even potentially become your own life coach. You know, like how self-help is meant to be. Now, if you've seen videos on this channel before, then you probably know that I am not a huge life coach and traditional self-help fan, and that's for a variety of reasons that we won't get into in this video. I've talked about it in previous videos, so I'll link those. You can check those out if you want to have a more detailed explainer. But with life coaches in particular, there is very little value that you can get from a life coach that you cannot get from yourself or from other sources for free, because most life coaches are going to set you back somewhere between like £50 a session up to tens of thousands of pounds for like a year's worth of coaching. I know this because I trained to be a life coach. Like, I actually spent my time to go and learn how to do it, and I was told that upon finishing my training, which by the way lasted approximately 7 days, that I could charge anywhere between like £60 and £100 an hour for my services. When I went to start going and looking into exactly how I could build a thriving coaching business, I was told that the best thing that I could possibly do for myself and for my clients was to charge at the very least £5,000 for 3 months, which is, you know, during that time I would be imparting my great knowledge that I gained from my 7 days of training. So life coaches can cost up to thousands of pounds, maybe even tens of thousands of pounds. Do you know how much it costs to get a coaching session with Tony Robbins? Do you know how much it costs to go to one of his seminars? It's thousands of dollars. To get coaching is hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even like $1 million or some stupid figure like that. And I need to qualify this, of course, because there are going to be some life coaches out there who do good work and who are highly trained and highly educated and have a whole lot of experience behind them, who do genuinely help people. But the vast majority of coaches, as I've said before, are people who took a course like me and thought to myself, yeah, I could do that. There's no problem. It doesn't matter that I don't have any therapeutic training, or that I just want to give advice to people, or that, you know, these are people who could have real life emotional or mental issues that need to be dealt with a professional. No, I think I can do it. Yeah, I can do that. There's no problem. It's no stress. I can do that. It sounds like a good side hustle to me. But for the most part, the vast majority of life coaches will provide you two things, and those two things are goal setting advice and accountability. Now, on the surface of that sounds pretty good. Wow, I can get goal setting advice and accountability just for a small fee or a large fee, depending on the coach. But let's say that you do just decide to go for a relatively new life coach. They're only charging £60 an hour. That's not bad for getting some goal setting and accountability advice, you know, until you start to actually rack up however many sessions that would be over the course of, let's say, a 3-month coaching relationship. So that's 13 weeks, £60, which is £780 in total. And I hope that I can make that editing cut so seamless that it seems that I did not have trouble with that math at all. But here's the thing about goal setting and accountability. As good as that is, it is not something that you have to pay for. Like, it's not something that you have to pay for. Now, there's going to be some people that will say, oh, well, it's not just the goal setting and the accountability. You're getting all of the coach's experience and expertise. Let me remind you, the majority of people who have become coaches are doing this on very, very little training, if any at all, because the life coaching industry is not regulated. Even if I hadn't done any training, I could start a business today calling myself a life coach. So no, unless you are going to seek the services of like a top rated coach, then the chances are you're not paying for their experience, you're paying for their lack of experience. In fact, you're paying them to gain experience over time, especially if they've not done training or if they've done insufficient training like I did. And the thing is, even when it comes to goal setting advice and accountability, you can get that for free. You can go and type into Google how to set goals, and it will bring you up like hundreds of thousands of articles that you could read that are literally all going to be the exact same thing, because they're all going to tell you how to set SMART goals, and that's pretty much it. Like, you can find a video on this channel about how to set goals, even though I'm not a huge goals person. Like, you can find that on Google, you can find it on YouTube. Shit, you could walk down the street and find a random person and be like, listen, like, how do you go about setting goals? And, you know, like, half of them are going to be like, oh, well, you know, you do the SMART method, you know. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. It's like specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based, time-bound, timely. No one really knows what the T stands for. So you can get that from literally anyone. And as for accountability, there's a wide range of places you can get that from as well. You can get that from your friends and your family, or if you don't have friends and family, you can go and get your accountability from yourself. It's actually pretty straightforward to hold yourself accountable. Now, that's not to say that it's easy, but it is a pretty simple process to set up accountability for yourself. Maybe that's something that I'll do a video on at another point, you know, how to create accountability in your life. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about how I keep myself accountable. Spoiler alert, it's not really what you think. It's not all about taking a super strict approach and having to, you know, plan out your day minute by minute and sticking to that, and if you don't, then you have to donate like £1,000 to the English Defence League or something. Like, it's not that. It's a lot more straightforward, and it's a lot more humanistic. It's a lot more of a person-centered approach. Now, the other objection that often comes up with this is that people say, well, you know, my guru says, or Tony Robbins says, or this person says that you're not really serious about self-improvement until you start spending money on it. And I want you to ask yourself, why would a coach whose literal money comes from coaching people, like, why would one of these 99% of coaches I'm talking about here have an incentive to tell you that the only way to actually be serious about self-improvement is to pay for it? Let's think about that for a second. Why would they tell you that? Maybe it's because they want you to spend money on a coaching package with them, and so they will lie. Of course you can develop without paying money to a coach or to going to a seminar or something like that. The only exception that I have to this is going and seeking therapy or counseling, because people who are therapists or counselors are regulated, they are accredited, they have to do a significant amount of training, they have to be under supervision, they have to be going through their own counseling. There's, of course, you can still get bad counselors. Like, I'm not going to be here telling you that, you know, every single counselor is perfect, or like you might get like a bad therapist or like a Hannibal Lecter kind of psychiatrist. Like, of course these things happen. They are much less likely to happen than if you go to a coach. They're also cheaper. Like, if you go to the average counseling, like counseling session in the UK, first of all, you know, you can get a certain amount on the NHS for free if you live in the UK, God bless socialised medicine, or you can go and find a counsellor and it'll be like £45 a session. Now, granted, yeah, £45 a session, if you don't have £45, is of course a lot. It's definitely cheaper than coaching, and it will definitely create greater, more long-lasting results, because it's not just somebody sitting across a table from you telling you, well, here's what I think, and Tony Robbins says this, and Deepak Chopra says that. It's an actual person who has received actual training in the psychology of people, who's there to help you, who has training, who has a code of ethics that they are bound to, otherwise they get stripped of accreditation and they can no longer practice. There is no absolute necessity to spend a bunch of money on coaching or self-improvement to change your life. You don't need a life coach. Everything that a life coach offers to you, you can get for free on the internet from the support of good friends and family, or you can spend a little less money and go and speak to a therapist or a counsellor. If you are blessed enough to live in a country like the UK, you might even be able to go and get 6 to 12 sessions for free or for a very highly reduced cost. You don't need a life coach, period. Anyway, I've got no special way to segue into a conclusion to this video today, so I'm just going to bring it to an abrupt close. Thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you found it useful, make sure to leave a like on it. Let me know what your thoughts and questions are in the comment section down below. If you agree, if you disagree, leave all your comments in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. If this is the kind of content that you like, I create content all about confidence and life advice for the average Joe. So if that's what you're interested in, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos here on this channel very soon.